Hey everyone, David Swain coming at you with your June market update. And I always love doing this because we're doing a year over year comparison and we're comparing this time, late June, versus late June in 2024 and 2023. So, lots of headlines out there, of course. This is such a fun time of year to do this because this is literally the busiest moment in the market here in Flagstaff. Now, let's just jump into it. Most notably, 2 years ago, we only had 233 active listings right now. Last year, 306, and right now, 435, which really just means buyers have so much more to choose from. They can go out and oftentimes view 4, 6, 8 homes and actually decide which one meets their needs the best, assess different neighborhoods. They're not in a rush to get into a home, and they have a better selection. So if you're a buyer in the market, great, right? Now, under contract, this is also notable. 2 years ago, we had 213 homes under contract right now. Last year, 201, and right now, only 156. So also reinforcing that there's more sellers than buyers in the market. But it is still weighted on the seller side of things, at least in the higher and lower price points. Sellers have a little bit more leverage in those price points. So I would argue that prices have gone up a little bit in the last 2 years in those price points. Now, what's the middle price point where that's different? That is the 700 to a million, or even maybe 750 to a million 50 now. I would call the middle price point in Flagstaff, where buyers have significantly more leverage. When we look at the 123 homes that have sold over the last 30 days, when we see that there is gaps between the list and sold price, where buyers have been able to negotiate a large chunk off, it is in that price point. And also keep in mind, buyers, right now, you don't have to just settle for a home that's in bad condition. Sellers would be wise to do more to prepare their home for listing and be willing to negotiate more on the repairs during the inspection period if they come up, to keep the buyers happy, because holding cost is not worth, not keeping a buyer happy. And then, we're here 2 months later and now you've paid more property taxes, homeowners insurance, utilities, and HOA fees. So, we just know that we have more competition when we're going to sell a house, that we have to have our houses stand out. That is definitely one of our fortes. We are proud to be batting 100% this summer season with all our listings closing in a reasonable time frame. And I say reasonable because not every home, again, that middle price point does take a little bit longer, sells right away. So overall, blanket statement in Flagstaff, sold price is 97% of list price. And that is consistent with the last 2 years. So in late June, when we look at the last 30 days of closed sales, 97% of list price. Now, here's the catch. If you're a buyer coming from Phoenix and you come up here and just think you're just going to, lowball everybody, well, it's probably not going to work very well for you. That's not, we don't have the same market. Phoenix has 27,000 active listings. Good for them. Like I'm sorry for the sellers that are waiting a longer time in Phoenix or reducing their price more significantly in Phoenix to get a buyer interested. But up here, we're not doing a lot of that. And the interest rates are finally starting to come down, is what I'm noticing. Finally, if I had a crystal ball, which I don't, but if I had to guess, I think we're finally on that verge where interest rates are going to continue heading down towards the end of the year, because we're just seeing the front end of that curve. And we'll probably, hopefully, end the year maybe around 6.25, get into 5.99 by spring next year, and really have the best active market we've had in a number of years up here in a lot of markets. But again, if you're coming from out of town, don't expect the world and don't expect to just not pay a reasonable price. Flagstaff is a desirable place to live. Our homes cost a little bit more because of that, and you're going to love living here. So give us a call. We want to share our expertise of as we're working in the market to benefit you in your situation as you're shopping or as you're selling. And just know that it's an ever-changing market, and having an expert on your side is really going to be valuable. I've heard a lot of people, I've just been looking at Zillow every day. Okay, great. Well, I'm glad we're talking now, because it sounds like you're getting serious and it's time to start acting, getting educated, getting in the car and seeing what your money buys you, and discussing how to move forward with things. Also, I want to just plug value of agents. Part of our value is limiting your liability. There's so much liability if you were to try to, maneuver through the market on your own, whether it's a buyer or seller. And we don't want that liability on you. I mean, it's staggering the difference in how much a good realtor will limit your liability compared to you not working with a realtor, or you just working with kind of a side hustle realtor. So give us a call. Even if you know other realtors, interview multiple realtors. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to stand out and show you why we work so hard for our clients and why they're so happy at the end of the journey that we go along with them. All right. We'll be putting up the graphic that shows the last 3 years' numbers, so you can see the side-by-side comparison. One note on that is in 2024, homes sold this time was only showing 83, but by the following week, it was back up to close to 120. So that is very steady and similar to the year before and to this year. So don't let that confuse you. And average days on market is 75 right now, so it's a little bit higher than the last 2 years, but it's incredibly healthy, really good. I'm just encouraged that more buyers are going to take advantage as these rates start coming down, and we're going to see this market continue to keep balancing. All right, take care.